All right, I'll try and make this short and sweet because there's not much new information. The next one will be a little bit different, but this is just subtracting mixed numbers with unlike denominators. So the first thing, the problem we're looking at is how much longer is Jorge's leash than Magda's leash? Now, on your notes, what is a phrase that is a clue that we will subtract? How much longer? How much longer tells us we're going to be comparing these two numbers, finding the difference, so we want to subtract. Now, for the rest of your notes, you can say it's just like adding, except you subtract the fractions and then subtract the whole numbers. So yeah, you can think of it like we're adding mixed numbers, just subtract. Or you could actually say it's just like subtracting, except we have those whole numbers as well. So it's very similar to what we've been doing. We'll just be subtracting. So what equation could we write? Well, we're just taking the bigger number minus the smaller number. Next year you'll get to negatives. For now, the bigger number always comes first. I know it's bigger because it has a bigger whole number, right? 2 2/3 minus 1 1/4 equals the difference. I'm going to go over here, pull up a blank paper to do that. Let me remind myself of the problem. 2 2/3 minus 1 1/4. 2 2/3 minus 1 1/4. So the process is exactly the same. I'm finding a common denominator. I can write my multiples or count them in my head. Oh, 12 is in both. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is what I multiplied by to get 12. So I do times 4 and get 8. 1, 2, 3 times 3 times 3. So we get 3. So now we just subtract these two. 8 minus 3 is 5. Denominator stays the same, and we get 1. Right? It's like I put them out. I found ones that were the same size pieces, and then I just canceled them out or found the difference. That's really all there is to it. Now there is a different strategy that I had showed you with the adding. You can change them into improper fractions, find common denominators then, and then subtract and get your answer. Change back to a mixed number. There is a perk which will apply in the next lesson. For this lesson, I would not do that just because it feels like extra work to me, right? It feels like it's easier to keep the numbers smaller with the fractions, not have to worry about improper. But if you like improper fractions, go for it. There's one. I think I'll have you do 3 practice problems. So Marcella walks 2 2/3 miles from her house to this bookstore. Jacques walks 3 5/6 miles from his house to the bookstore. How much farther does Jacques walk? I like it. They rhyme even though they don't look like it. So again, how much farther? That's a clue that we're subtracting. We are comparing those two numbers. So go ahead and try 3 5/6 minus 2 2/3. See what you get. Did you get it? Hopefully so. Again, I like having space over here. 3 5/6 minus 2 2/3. Now in this case, 3, 6, I can use one of my denominators already. So this will just be times 1 and I get 5/6. This one is times 2, I get 4/6. So now I can subtract 5/6 minus 4/6 is 1/6. 3 minus 2 is 1. So 1 1/6. You might be thinking, what if the top fraction is smaller? And we'll get to problems like that in the next lesson. This one shouldn't have any like that. All right. Trying to keep it short and sweet. All right, 3 2/3 minus 1 1/5. Go ahead and give it a try. All right, hope you got it. You can see some options for denominators if that helps. But I'm changing it into 15ths because if I count by 5s and I count by 3s, I'll get to 15. This one is times 3. So notice how they did just switch in this one. It was like this times this times this. I'll show you one in a minute where we do have to be a little careful of that. 3 minus 1 is 2. 10 minus 3 is 7. So 2 and 7/15 is our answer. So if I go down to number 5, there we go. 5 and 5/9 minus 3 and 1/6. Go ahead. All right. In case you weren't sure, I'll do that for you. 5 and 5/9 minus 3 and 1/6. So this is a case, if I just flip-flopped and did 9 times 6 and 6 times 9, I could use 54. But I'm going to use 18 because it's much smaller. Right? If I count by each of them, I come across 18. If I use 54, I'm going to get a much bigger answer that I will have to simplify. And I know simplifying is not always easy. Usually it's just easier to find a smaller common denominator. Minus our fractions, minus our whole numbers, 2 and 7/18 it is. If you still need help, let me know. Good luck.